So I haven't had a live in about 3 months. It's been a while.
Oh wow.
So I know. And I'm like, I gotta do a live. I gotta do a live. So it's just interesting to me how things line up because I've been trying to schedule lives with several people. It's like always something has happened, life has happened. And I came across this video and I usually do breakdown videos by myself, but I don't know. So when I saw this video, like I literally had tingles. The video of Jay Shetty's
Yes, it's pretty
podcast.
powerful.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I really want to just have a discussion with someone because I know when we talk, it's very interesting. And I was like, I wonder if Kayon's available. And not only had you not only were you available, like you had also saw this podcast. So I was like, oh, we were meant to do this together. Like this is perfect. So thank you for being here and
Right.
doing this with me. I appreciate
Of
it.
course. Of course.
So when did you come across it?
I actually came across it like a few months ago. Um,
Mm,
just like Googling on YouTube, just browsing, manifestation, spirituality, things like that. And it
mhm,
kind of like came up in like the feed. So then I clicked on it.
mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so with me it just popped up. And Jay said his podcast have been on point. There was another one I watched that was pretty good. I'm really liking his podcast
Yeah, it's
lately.
pretty good, especially if it's like resonating with you at that time and you catch it during that time. It's like it's
Yeah.
speaking to you, like, you were meant to watch it at that time.
Yeah, yeah. He's had some pretty amazing guests. So, this podcast was like an hour and a half long.
No, yeah, I know.
So
I had time though. I usually work out during the podcast, so
that's a good idea.
yeah, it
See
gets it
me, I need
going.
a little energetic music.
Hmm.
I gotta get like, pumped up. Get some extra kicks in.
Get that
But
adrenaline.
so we're going for me, it was like towards the end. It was like this block where they were just back to back, like hitting powerful points that I
Yeah.
really wanted
Hmm.
to get into. So first of all, one of the things that he got into was the Gita. I think it's Gita.
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 Hmm.
So I had no knowledge about Gita. Like I was just surprised because I'm into yoga and I've read other Hindu philosophy books and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So when they were talking about this, I was like, oh, and then to find out it was like Hindu mythology. I didn't even know there was Hindu mythology.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was really intrigued. So he tells this story about Arjuna, and Arjuna is like this powerful warrior, and his family is coming to like pretty much take over his spot, and they get like a massive army against him. And like when he sees his family out there, he doesn't want to fight. Like he don't
Right.
feel like he should have to kill his family, and actually he's like, oh, they might just have to come and kill me. Like I don't
Hmm.
feel right, fighting my own family. And Will Smith is going into like how this kind of changed his perspective on a lot of things because when I went deeper to the story on my own, one of the guys was with him, Krishna,
Hmm.
and he was telling him like pretty much we all spirits, like this is just a physical form, like they coming for your title, your throne.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you are meant to be a warrior. You are meant to like this is your kingdom. You
Hmm.
are meant to do this. So if anybody comes and takes that from you, like you have to fight for it because if you
Right.
don't, they're gonna talk about you and put you
Right.
down and everything. So I thought that was very interesting. So
Hmm.
this is Will's take on that situation.
right? And on the other side of that, he's like, well, I'll just let them kill me. I'm not doing that. There's no version of me going into battle with them. I don't care how wrong they are. I don't care. And as I just got deeper and deeper into that story, it's like, I feel like that all the time, right? I feel like I'm in what Radhanath Swami referred to as a perplexing situation. Always, right? That I feel stuck in a perplexing situation with people I love where there's not clean answers, right? And I always feel strong enough, like if you want to fight, we can fight. I know how to fight, but how can that be the right thing? Yeah. You know? And I just really related to how the Gita handles those kinds of perplexing situations and recognizing that's what life is. You are born into a perpetual perplexing situation. And that it was the first time that I'd ever heard the spiritual idea like that life is a perplexing situation, and you're never going to get around being stuck in the duality. You have to elevate above the whole thing, you know. And that.
So for me, why this really hit for me, let me put this back on the screen, was how I think so many times we want answers to be so simple. We want situations to be so simple, especially when it comes to like family and loved ones. Like a lot of times we feel like things are supposed to be black and white, and they're not. And I guess that needs to be something we should be used to, like, or get used to. That it's not always simple.
Yeah. Also, if you shouldn't like really pay attention to like what the response is going to be either. That's really what the morale of what Gita's trying to teach. Like if you're going to do something, just do it, but don't have any attachment to how you think people are going to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about not having any type of attachments to whatever you do. Like just focus on the progress, not the result.
Yeah, because when you do things, I guess an expectation of the result, then you don't get the result that you want, then you get disappointed.
Right, exactly. So you can't be attached to the result. You have to just continue on with the progress of things.
Right. Yeah. So, and then when he was making a statement, elevating yourself above the problem, I have found myself, but I have felt that, but I never really put that into words, where it's like I see the situation for what it is, and it's like I literally have to step back and outside of myself and view everything and realize sometimes the situation is not even about me. It's about something else, or you know what I'm saying, or it's coming from a different kind of source, and you can't really take a lot of things too personal or make things too complicated. So yeah, when he was like elevated yourself above the situations, I really definitely felt that.
Yeah, you have to, because at the end of the day, if you take things personal, you're going to get caught up. You know, you're going to get caught up with that emotion, with all those reactions, responses that may be deemed as negative and that you wasn't prepared for. So that's definitely, you know, a really good way to start to look at things. Like how they respond, how they react, that has nothing to do with you. You just still got to keep moving forward and elevate yourself.
Right. On that note, let's go into this next part. That was pretty deep.
The Christian concept about that that I always heard and never understood fully. And my grandmother would say all the time, you got to let go and let God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like that. It just, the Gita filled in that concept of what it really means. It doesn't mean don't do anything.
Yeah.
Let go and let God doesn't mean don't do anything.
Yeah.
It means do your divine duty, whatever that may be. And just for whatever reason, the study of the Gita at this particular point in my life really clarified a lot of ideas of how to move through a world where you almost can't do it right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like there's God's playing a practical joke. Right.
I can't hear you.
Because I'm muting my
Okay,
mic.
there we go.
Yeah.
You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Let me know if there's still an echo. Is there still an echo? Is good?
No, it's fine now. Yeah.
Okay. So when he goes into that Christian philosophy, let go and let God, and his way of seeing that was like that exploded for me, because so many times I have heard that expression, but the way people use that expression is to mean they ain't gonna do nothing.
Right.
They just go, we're gonna let God hit. We're gonna let Jesus take the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for him to say that let go and let God means you still do what you feel like your purpose is and what you feel like you need to do, and you just have to let go of what people might think, what the whole outsiders. For me it's people pleasing, like me disappointing people or feeling the guilt from, like, I have to let that go and walk in the path that I feel like is right for me.
Right.
So how
Because
did
it says in the scriptures, he's gonna help those who help themselves. So, it's not about just sitting back and just, like you said, letting Jesus take the wheel. It's about you doing the footwork in order to get to that higher frequency, and not worrying about, like you said, how other people may feel. Because a lot of times people are not going to be comfortable as you start to step into your higher frequency. They want to keep you where you make them comfortable. You already had taught them how to be around you, and you already taught them how you're going to be regardless. But now that you're turning into somebody new who's growing, that's going to make them uncomfortable. So you still need to do the footwork, but you got to find a way in order to not allow other people's responses or reactions to bring you down, so you don't stay right of the goal.
Yeah, my Sizzle family, they said they watching. Hey, Kim and Tracy, hey y'all. They're very good with this too. They deep too. We're having deep conversations.
Right.
So yeah, and I think that really helps with people who have a goal in mind or trying to find their purpose. Like, you really have to tap within and not get, because there have been times too, I think why I felt this, well, I felt like I had tapped it, I got it, like I figured it out, and then I talked to somebody and they kind of like,
wait, hold on. I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Now I can. It was too much.
Okay. Where like you feel you feel like you know your purpose, you know what you want to do, and then you talk to somebody, or with me, I do a lot of research. So like I'll over research something, and then it'll kind of take me like, oh, well, somebody else is kind of doing the same thing or whatever. And that is also to our detriment. Like, I think the greatest advice I ever heard was, just because somebody else is doing it don't mean like they're not you.
Wait a minute, I can't hear you again.
Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me out there that's watching? Let me know in the comments. Is it good now?
I don't know, something wrong with the connection.
Isn't the connection? Hold on, you guys, bear with us. So we're gonna have Kayon's gonna come in. Seem to have some connection issues, but yeah, while we're waiting for her, if you're watching this later, like put in the comments like the times, like what do you do to? Because this will also be advice from me because I'm working on this too, honey. Like, how do you deal with outside voices, outside like situations that kind of can influence you or take you off your path? Like if you have something set in mind and you want to go after it and then you talk to somebody and then it don't work. Like, how do you deal with that situation? Can you hear me now?
Wait, yeah. So go back from the beginning of that question.
Oh, I was saying, so like, how do you handle, like, you have something in mind, you focus, you think you got it, and then you end up talking to somebody or you come across something and you're like, oh, well, maybe that, and then you start second guessing everything.
Well, I actually am in a place where I just trust myself. So I don't have any doubts when I'm in a place where I'm gonna make a decision or the process to complete a goal. Because a lot of times, so for me, like since I trust myself, if I'm going to discuss it already with someone, I don't have room for any type of analysis or criticism where it's gonna trigger any type of insecurities that I may have, because I'm already at a place where I'm gonna trust that everything's gonna work out. A lot of times people are not at that place where they trust themselves, so that's why they kind of like to go off and get different opinions from people, and they just kind of like want to talk about it and vent. But because they don't trust themselves, they're leaving themselves open for criticism that will be projected on from other people, and it's gonna trigger insecurities where it might set you back. It could set you back, or like you said, second guess.
That's so true. Yep. Yeah, because I've noticed too, like doing practices that really, like the meditation, self-reflection, they call it like shadow work or the inner child work, like doing stuff like that really helps you get in tune with yourself. So then you start making decisions for yourself where like you don't need it's like, okay, I feel it in my spirit, like this is what I'm supposed to do. And then when you follow it, stuff just start falling into place. No longer becomes so complicated.
Right,
and we make things to be. It's crazy like that. Okay, so we're gonna get into the next part. And this interview is you guys can find it on YouTube. It's really good.
Perception of the right reaction.
Yes.
That's where we get lost. For us, going back to what you said at the beginning, you're like, there's no such thing as a bad experience. Right. We're looking at the result of our activities as a signal of how well we're living.
Yes, absolutely.
And that messes us up because the result of your activities is not under your control.
Yes, absolutely.
And so if you're living your life based on the result of your activities being a signal that you're successful, you're setting yourself up to, and all of us do it all the time.
I was using Jada's reaction to my actions as a measure of the quality of my actions.
Yeah.
And one thing has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And that's not what we're taught, right? And you know, the concept that someone's reaction to your behavior is theirs and your behavior is yours. And when you try to marry the two, when you try to use the outcome as a measure of the quality of your own being, that is the kiss of death.
Correct.
The way that this material world works, you can do everything right and it still go wrong in terms of outcome.
Yeah.
And you can do everything wrong and it still goes right
in the outcome.
The outcome is not connected to the quality of your behavior. And that is such a hard idea to digest. So when I started interacting with Jada and with my family as what a friend of mine, Michaela Bone, what she refers to as a freestanding man, right? So I am certain and I am committed to being who I am and how I want to be without a craving for someone's approval.
Okay. So they unpacked a lot right there.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's the home run right there.
Right. So the first part of that is the perception of right reaction. So like the outcome, and this for me, this really hit as far as my journey of being an entrepreneur. It's like you plan everything right. You try to do everything perfect, but it don't go exactly how you thought it was gonna go.
Right.
Or
right.
everything is going wrong.
Right.
You're like, what the fuck? But then when it's game time, everything goes right. Like it's fine.
That's why you can't focus on the result, because the outcome is you never know what outcome gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. Like you said, you could do everything right and it go wrong, or you could do everything wrong and it go right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
And
you
that
gotta just always focus on that process.
Right, and that speaks nothing to the quality of work that you're putting in.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that happens a lot too. And I've been guilty of this, where like, I post, especially now doing these videos, honey. I'll do a video and I feel like, this video was bomb. This video was. My dance was on point. The song was on point. Because I do dance videos with like the lyrics and stuff. So, and they don't get like 5 views. One like.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't good. That doesn't mean you wasn't doing dance steps.
Yeah. And then like the video. Let me tell you something. My highest view video is on YouTube, 10,000 views right now. It's a video that I did last minute. I was like, damn, I need to get this video out the way. I forgot the girl's name. What was the girl's name I was dancing to, Craig? You remember? It was some pop song, but I liked the song. It had a little catchy beat. I was like, I'll use this song because usually I use like house or African or whatever. And it was just something I did in the rain because I just needed to get a video out. That video got 10,000 views on YouTube.
You see that? Do you see that? That's crazy.
So yeah. Crazy. And that's when I was just like, fuck this.
Yeah, you just gotta this is what I'm doing. Yep. You just gotta go along with the process, because at the end of the day, you just never know what the outcome gonna be. Mm-hmm. And then you don't want to use that to validate where you're at in the quality of your work.
Right. Yeah. And that's where people go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I'm doing this and this, and why this is, you start to go crazy. You start to be like second guessing yourself and just being angry. Like,
mm-hmm.
What's the point?
Right. Or I've seen where people completely change who they are, like become a person that's not their authentic self. Because they did one thing that hit and they're just like in that box, and they stay in that box, and then they lose their sense of identity and who they are as they're growing up, and it's no bueno. That's not good.
Yeah, it's just they just go down like a snowball.
Mm-hmm.
Not good.
Yeah. I also want to touch on the point where he said earlier in the interview that no there's no bad experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is very touchy with people who haven't quite gotten to that next level of consciousness, because they're stuck in like, what do you mean? Like, and they'll recount like their horrible experiences, which we all have had. And I'll have to say, it does get to the point where even your worst experiences, when you look back on that, you appreciate what you have gained from those experiences. It does take a while.
Because once you remove the emotion out of the experience, you are in a place now to understand the lesson that was learned. So a lot of times when it's that shock factor, oh my God, this is such a bad experience, that's the emotions talking. But if you put yourself in a place where you can remove that because you don't have any attachments, you're detached from like the outcome, then you're able to learn the lesson.
Yeah.
You know, either way, you're learning something. You're learning what to do or what not to do.
Yeah. Now that you say that, that's like the emotions. That's the key right there. Being able to remove the emotions. That's when you really.
That's what Gita talks about. You can't be attached to anything. You have to just do. Just do. Because when you become attached, when you become attached, that just brings on a whole feel of like emotion, stress, all that kind of stuff that you have no control over. Because you're letting someone else or some other situation dictate how you should move.
Right. And then that also makes you, if you let your emotions control you, normally you react in the wrong way.
Right.
And you're not thinking rationally, and you're not doing things rationally. So
you start to become erratic.
Yeah. And then he was talking about how he was allowing someone else's reaction to him and letting that be what he determined as the quality of his behavior, and not realizing that someone's reaction to you is just their reaction to you, and like your reaction is your reaction. You get to a point where you separate that.
Yeah.
At all.
that was when he was talking about Jada. And you know, he basically was just saying like how she feels is how she feels. That doesn't validate who I am as a person. Like he can't help that at the end of the day. And it's true, like in life, at the end of the day, like you only have control over you. Like a lot of times people like are afraid to tell you truth because they're afraid of your response or your reaction. But by not telling you truth, you didn't even give me an opportunity to respond in my genuine, authentic self. You know what I'm saying? Like you just think it's going to automatically affect you. But it's my response, regardless of if you gonna like it or not. That's just how I'm gonna respond. That's how I'm gonna react. But the two don't go together. You still need to say truth.
Right. And this is where I always come back to the 5 agreements. That was like my first lesson in reaching a different conscious of looking at things and thinking of things is don't make assumptions.
Yeah.
That's like the first lesson. Always. And once I started doing that like changed everything. And all of us are work in progress. And sometimes someone's reaction to you, it does not speak to the quality of yourself. So just because like you might have caught me on the wrong day or something, and I'm like, bit back. That don't mean that lessens my quality, because I don't know if you run into this. Well, probably not, because Kayon has gotten to the point now where her set of people that she surrounds herself with is like on point. But for me, it's like if I do something that I guess goes against what I preached, I guess you could say, like, I'm trying to get I'm enlightening myself. I am enlightening myself. And I am looking at things differently, handling things differently. And then you talk to somebody, you might slip. And so like a human side of yourself where you're struggling, and you know what I'm saying, where you don't want to do the affirmations, you don't want to do the meditation, you know what I'm saying, you like kind of stuck, and people sometimes use that against you and use that as bring down the quality of your being, you know, the quality of what your message or anything like that, when it's like, no, that's not a reflection of who I am. Like, we all have our moments. Nobody's perfect.
Well, I thought you said you was working on yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they so quick to kind of like put you back into that box where you're trying to like open up and grow from.
Right. Because I was like, damn, I can't be vulnerable. Like, shit.
Right. Do I always gotta be perfect?
Right. Like, it's a constant. It's constant, man. Working on yourself is constant, yo.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We're gonna go into the last part of this, which is one of my favorite little moments from this interview.
Right? Because I know their approval doesn't have anything to do with me. Right? And, you know, sometimes we get stuck in these situations where we're seeking the approval of someone for our self-esteem. As a freestanding man, right? So I am certain and I am committed to being who I am and how I want to be without a craving for someone's approval, right? Because I know their approval doesn't have anything to do with me, right? And, you know, sometimes we get stuck in these situations where we're seeking the approval of someone for our self-esteem.
Yes.
Self-esteem is about yourself, right?
Absolutely.
But we start looking to other people for our self-esteem, and, you know, sometimes we find ourselves looking in broken mirrors to get a reflection of ourselves, right? And the greatest tragedy is when you look into a broken mirror to see if you're pretty, right? And you're going to let that person tell you about your inner qualities. And the greatest tragedy is when you look in a broken mirror and you're going to change your face to try to look good in a broken mirror. Man. Whew, I'm so glad to be free from that.
I love.
Yep.
That's like the most perfect way to explain it. Because a lot of times the people that we're gaining approval from or basing how we're going to do things they're broken themselves. Like, we all have some brokenness in us. So it's kind of just like you're trying to, especially social media. Kayon's not on social media no more. Not yet. She's gonna get back with that podcast though. But especially being on social media with strangers, and when you start dealing with like negative comments and stuff like that, and it's so true. I've heard this said so many times. You could have a whole list of positive comments, and somebody one comment could take you out the frame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And make you reevaluate yourself and all kinds of stuff.
And it's just like, why did you even allow them to even dictate your emotions like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're broken, and who are they? At the end of the day, like, you gotta validate yourself. That's why it's really good to like do all that internal work, and, you know, and get into who you are, because you really don't need validation. You just need to be able, from anybody, you just need to be able to get to a place where you trust yourself. There's no more self-doubt, and you validate yourself. So at the end of the day, nobody's negative comments, criticism that they have about you can affect you, because you're so strong within yourself that you're going to block that, like the warrior Gita. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to affect you.
Right. And then too, I have read somewhere that people's opinions is based off of their own experiences. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, a lot of times their opinions might not even be valid for you because your experience might be totally different. You're coming from a totally different space than they are. So pretty much, like I listen to people. I do listen. Like, you know, I'm all about constructive criticism. I am. But then I guess that's when you really have to have a really good sense of self to know, okay, where is this opinion coming from? Is it valid for me? Is it valid for my situation? And proceed from there. But yeah, that was just like so beautiful to me, that part, because we're constantly looking at others for validation, for approval. And
my favorite part,
you're looking into a broken mirror.
Right. But my favorite part of that whole conversation was the ending when he said, I'm finally free. Because sometimes you don't become free because you're always going to need that validation from someone else, which just pretty much means that you have not been working on yourself to validate yourself. And for him to say, I'm finally free, that is the most refreshing place to be. Freedom. He doesn't have any attachments. He's just free from people's comments or anybody else of what they may think of him, because he's finally at a place where he validates himself.
And that's like the ultimate freedom. Right.
That's why it's you got to work on becoming detached, and detachment is not a negative place to be. It's more positive where it comes for your life experience, because you're learning within life. Yeah, life is about living and having fun, but you still need to use these experiences to learn. So when you learn how to become detached from things or people, you are going to be able to put yourself in a place to be free. And then that way you don't have to focus on results, people's responses, people's reactions. You're just doing. At the end of the day, you're doing, that's your purpose, you're intentional about it, and now you can be free. Nothing else is going to matter, because where you're at, you're so pure, you're free, and you're in a great place.
Yeah. And the other part of this podcast too was for them to give insight onto how to like manifest what you want out of life. And I realized too how much that goes hand in hand, because I used to be, you know, very shy about like if I had a vision, or if I felt like I could do something or achieve something, or like my goals, I would downplay them for other people.
No.
I never wanted to make it seem like, yeah, because I never wanted to make it seem like I thought I was better than someone, or, you know what I'm saying? So if somebody was like vibrating low, like I'll vibrate low with them. Like I felt like it was bad to have that confidence. But you have to speak what you want into existence. Like, no, I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. And it's not like you're bragging, because I used to feel like that was bragging too, which also made it difficult.
Yeah. And bragging, if it's deemed as bragging, you got to question where that's coming from. If someone's deeming as bragging, or if you yourself think it's bragging, where's that originated from? Why is it deemed as bragging? That's a negative, that's taking it to a negative place. Also with manifestation, you got to be careful that you're not sending the universe mixed signals either, because you can manifest all day and then you're not doing the footwork. So you're manifesting out loud and you're giving the universe mixed signals, and you're wondering why at the end of the day things aren't coming back to you. So you know, you got to be careful of that.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, thank you, Kayon. This was amazing.
Yes, I had a good time.
Yes. So also, I have to share October 23rd. I'm going to be having my vision board workshop.
Yay!
super excited. It's gonna be virtual, so anybody from all over will be able to come. I'm also super excited because we managed to book a influencer. He's a emotional health advocate. His name is Dash Hudson. So I'm super excited about him. And then the girl that she usually does my yoga, she has reinvented her business. So now she focuses more on meditation. And what she's going to be doing for us is, she said, is going to align our energy and our chakras to be in our spirit guides and our
I love to be aligned.
So yes, I love you. So my problem is the first time showing it public. Yes. So here we go. Visualize and Sip is celebrating National Emotional Wellness Month with their annual virtual vision board workshop. Get your mind and body right for the upcoming holiday season. Join us October 23rd from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern for an afternoon of fun, motivation, and relaxation. Yoga instructor Patrice Graham will lead a chill meditation to help align our energy channels. Plus, our special guest motivational speaker Dad Hudson will drop some gems to help you navigate any issues you are going through. There will be raffles featuring some great wine as well as some other special treats. Topping it all off, N-Dowd founder Capri will teach you to create your very own vision board, while DJ Low Key spins some classic hip-hop and R&B. This virtual event is limited to only 100 people. Ask about our exclusive limited VIP after party. This is an event you do not want to miss.
Yes. Yes.
So super excited. Those tickets are on sale now. You can go to visualizeandsip.com.
Let me go get my ticket. Yes, I love
I'm super excited about that. And like I said before, that's how I know, because I wanted to do, like, this is something I have visualized, like something bigger. Taking it to like the next level. So
right.
Excited about it.
Yes, no, this is dope. This is really dope. I can't wait. This is gonna be a good time.
It is. And we're gonna be looking out for your podcast.
Yes.
Are you able to say anything about that right now or no?
Oh yeah, my partner, Dr. Creative, and myself, we have we're going to be doing a podcast, Auntie and Uncle's Family Affair. So that's going to be coming out in the beginning of 2022. We're going to be talking about a lot of different topics. And so just stay tuned.
Yes, looking forward to that. Well, thank you, Kayon.
All right, thank you.
And everyone, be sure to like, share, comment on the points that really stood out for you. I'm really curious to hear everyone else's feedback on this video. And have an amazing evening. And always remember, your breakthrough could be just around the corner. Stay in N-Dowd.